Hello and welcome back to TEW 2016, The Branding Solution, and we are here live at WrestleMania, and somehow I've got one of the most stacked cards I've ever put together, and we have a few pre-show matches just to fit everybody on the card, because this match was one that was meant to be on the main card. Didn't quite fit. I thought the Cruiserweight one was slightly more important to be on the main card than this one, so I went with that over this one. In the end, in the 50-woman, I believe it was 50, Carmella picks up the win to become the SmackDown debut title champion. This means that if she loses it, she can never win it again. We introduced this title solely to try and push people up the card, so you only get one shot at ever being this champion, and if you've held gold in this company before, you will not get another chance to have it. The most interesting thing is Christina Von Eerie got the most eliminations, which is showing that she's come along a long way. The improvements are through the roof. We had a few debuts in here, where we had Erin Knight, Ludaka, and I had Nikki Cross in here somewhere. They are a few of the NXT call-ups. They're going to debut Mania. Seems like fair. Mandy Leon got an injury. Doesn't say what. It actually says undisclosed. So we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, it's Demi Bennett's fault. Great. That was one of my new other debutants. We'll get into that reason for later. We have just 3 Battle Royals in this card. 2 on the pre-show, 1 on the main card. And this one was just because there was nobody else left. Nothing left for these guys to do. I gave Luke Harper a win on this because I'm trying to push him to the next level. This one isn't quite as stacked, but it's still pretty stacked. I gave Braun Strowman the most eliminations, and Apollo Crews was the last one out. Bubba Ray got a concussion, so we see everyone's putting their bodies on the line for WrestleMania. Another host of improvements. There's no changes. Doesn't look like it's anyone's fault, the injury. That's good. And this is just the last pre-show match. This was literally just chucked together because I thought, what the hell, we'll give them a debut. Last time out, I found out that Ryback and Barry Griffiths are a good team. So I thought, why not? Let's call Griffiths up, and they're going to be called Rage Inc. 2 big guys who just want to go and hurt people. Problem is, I want to give Enemy of the State the victory here. So Enemy of the State, also called up, get the victory on their debut. They were former NXT champs, so that makes sense. So the pre-show is irrelevant to most of this, apart from the SmackDown Women's Debut Championship. We start the show. Right, the story of this is Jericho and Kurt Angle are hosting WrestleMania due to the fact Jericho is injured and Kurt Angle I want to try and use less in the ring. And the news articles that came through, which was quite shocking, is Bret Hart died on the game, and then the next storyline was Vince is going to retire, which just the coincidence is ridiculous to that. So we thought we'd have these 2 come out and bring out all the GMs, Stephanie, Shane, Edge, Sting, and Shawn Michaels, and Vince, just to say this is his last WrestleMania. Come and enjoy the show. You know what's going to happen. This man created this. He's going to be the one to be here for his last ever showing. That's pretty much the reason for this. I felt it would be a good way so each GM can pump their matches as well. And we get a nice rating to start the show. Now we get to see how well the card goes. Right, for the Shockwave World Tag Team Champions, the Briscoe brothers retain their titles. And you can see Jay got an 81, Mark got 74, and the Jackson brothers got a high 70s. Great to see. Great start to the show. Afterwards, the club offer the Bucks a handshake, but they just turn around and attack them and grab a mic and say we're out of here, we're done with you. And it is official that the Jackson brothers, the Young Bucks, are going to Monday Night Raw, and this is their way of doing it. They're breaking up with the club. They were picked on the draft, so they've left Shockwave for Monday Night Raw. In what I think is going to be a bad match, which I was right, and worrying injury as well. Another injury, 3 injuries so far in WrestleMania. We're only on match 5. Jinder Mahal won the Raw TV title. Yes, I pulled the trigger on this. Let's try and do something with Jinder. Ty Dillinger got an injury, which is bad. That sounds painful. And Jahinder's fault, great. Just giving him the title when he injured someone. Great. And he over-celebrates afterwards, which is what you would expect him to do. Moving on into the last of my Battle Royals, I believe, where we went with the Cruiserweight Championship. Yes, everybody in this match was eligible to be in this match because they were Cruiserweights. I think this works really well. We knew we weren't going to have the greatest match. We had a few more debuts in here. Mystico has come back, will come to the WWE to join the Cruiserweights. The improvements you can see through the roof there. Anthony Nese is now on the main card, and so is Colbin and Dave Finlay Jr. and the Ciro brothers. Both make their main roster debuts here. Let's see, who was... Roderick Strong got the most eliminations, and Sin Cara was the final elimination. So I wanted to put a few bigger names into this. I think that made sense. And everything has come off quite smoothly in there. And I'm not sure what the gimmick change is going to be. Who's in this match? Oh yeah, that was it. Just to change him to be a show stealer. I didn't like it under the Prince one. I wanted him just to be like the guy we know. So yeah, these are the weak matches out of the way, I think. We then have a video package looking at the Shield's rise and fall of the Shield and their singles careers leading up to this main event at WrestleMania, where we have Seth defend against Dean and Roman. In a Fatal 4-Way women's tag team title match, I gave Bad and Beautiful the win. They picked up the win and finally stopped the Forgotten Generation's reign as tag team champions, but they pinned Alicia Fox, so they were the undefeated champions, if you like. And they both celebrate afterwards. Nice solid rating. We're moving on nicely here. In a European title match, we have Drew McIntyre picking up the victory here when he pinned Damien Sandow thanks to interference from Marty Scurll and Killian Dane, who attacked Adam Cole and Olivia Max. So Drew McIntyre picked up the European title. The idea would be the Tyler Breeze hit his finisher on Sandow, and McIntyre kind of steals it. So I think this worked really well. I'm going to check this. Yes, he's turning into a brute. Fair enough, it's not devastating. So it's a 74. European champion is now Drew McIntyre. And he grabs a mic afterwards and says, "We've only just started this reign of terror. You wait till we're finished with you, Shockwave. We'll have all the gold." Seems to be a thing I'm doing a lot. And we'll be the most dominant force in WWE history. So Drew sending his warning out. In a tag team title match for the Raw Tag Team Championships, we have Certified G's retaining their titles once again over the Usos, the Death Squad and the Uprising. yeah, I'm quite happy to keep him on them for a bit longer. I think I know who I want to take them off him. We move backstage, and Seth Rollins cuts a promo on Roman Reigns now, and Dean Ambrose, because he knows Dean's in his back pocket, so he's only got to worry about Roman. Moving on to the Women's Intercontinental, which was a brilliant 83 B+. Asuka beats Charlotte to retain her Intercontinental Women's Championship. I pulled the trigger on keeping it on her, because most of this is just to make Asuka look better, but to keep Charlotte really relevant, but not in the main picture. I think this is all good, and we've moved forward where we wanted to go. We then have our backstage promo from AJ Brock and Bobby Roode about their upcoming match against Orton, Cena and Cody Rhodes. And that match gets an 82, that's pretty impressive too. Bobby and Cody were the weak links, but Brock Lesnar pins Cody Rhodes, or makes Cody Rhodes submit to the Kimura. During the match, Randy Orton just kind of walks out. That was part of, we can't really set that up, but I wanted that to be part of it. So he leaves Cody and Cena high and dry. And Cena chased him down and Orton RKO'd him. So it kind of left Cody Rhodes on his own facing the three of them. That's why Cody Rhodes took the fall. He had no backup. So we've just kind of left him high and dry. In our women's 5-on-5, another brilliant match in 82. I gave Becky Lynch the victory over Summer Rae, who is the second weakest link on the women's in this match. I can't really have Nia pinned yet again. So the faces pick up the big win for the women's division here. And afterwards we go back and see Edge watching the video as such, praising how good that match looked. And Natalya walks in, says, just remember I'm not on this card tonight. But I got an idea. Let me introduce it on SmackDown next week. Edge says, okay, let's see what you got. So we're doing something with Natalya where we're going to introduce something brand new. I like this. I'm going to keep Edge sort of almost just letting her do her thing to keep her happy, but not using her where you need to. Another 84 B+. We gave The Miz the victory in the ladder match. The Miz is now your Intercontinental Champion, which I think is a bit of a surprise. He is technically the 5th best performer in this match. But there are reasons that will get revealed throughout the rest of the programming to why this has happened. Or coming up on Raw anyway, there's no clear answer now. And then The Miz does the over the top celebration, because he is finally the champ. Typical Miz style. We then move into the US title match, and Shinsuke Nakamura retains with a pinfall over Okada. I wanted to keep it on Nakamura because he's going up through the roof. And at 82, this is the sort of matches we were getting to end Raw, so having them in this show is great. We then get The Undertaker and Finn Balor cutting their promo on Triple H and Samoa Joe as they're making their way to the ring. The Undertaker is unleashing this demon to take over his reign of terror. And into the match, another 82. Finn Balor defeated Samoa Joe in this match. I think it was better not to pin Triple H, and I didn't want Undertaker to get the pin. This is a pass the baton type of match. So Finn Balor stands tall at WrestleMania. But afterwards, Triple H turns to Joe and says, you know what? I've had enough of you. You're not good enough to be part of my team. And then he sort of slaps Joe. And standing behind Joe was Randy Orton, who hits him with an RKO. And we complete this turn. So he's now his high society. Triple H has re-bought him Randy Orton, and it's official that Randy Orton has come to Raw, and Samoa Joe has gone to Shockwave, and Joe doesn't even get a chance to fight back against Triple H because of what's happened. They will not be in the same arena again, I think, until SummerSlam. So that's done. Randy Orton has rejoined Triple H as a heel, and Samoa Joe is left as a bit of a heel still, but in limbo heading to SmackDown, a Shockwave. In an 89A, Sasha Banks defeated Bayley. I did the Crush Dream angle here. Bayley has overcome all the odds to get a match against Sasha Banks, and she couldn't get the job done. Sasha Banks is still your women's champion. Bayley, after the match, looks devastated. We jump on to CM Punk cutting his promo on Rusev, telling him how he spent the year getting this title back off AJ Styles. He isn't going to just let some Bulgarian brute take it away from him again. And in another A-rated match, we have Bray Wyatt retaining his World Heavyweight Championship, beating Big E once again. Kevin Owens is not happy, and Daniel Bryan just looks on in a bit of shock. I decided to keep it with Bray because it's too early just to take it straight off him. I think there's a lot of potential. I know who I want to take the title off Bray eventually. And we go back to Rusev to cut his promo. He says he won the Rumble. He's beaten the Orton. He's beaten everyone who's got in his way. And Punk, you're the next victim. And dropped down a little bit this one. CM Punk loses. Rusev is your Shockwave World Heavyweight Champion. Still an 84, so I'm quite happy with that. Both in the 90s. And then we have Roman Reigns telling everyone that he's going to end Seth Rollins' reign as champion, because I think Seth Rollins actually won the title on the first match for it against Daniel Bryan back when it was just on SmackDown. So now it is up to Roman Reigns to try and end this. Wow, that's gone down. I was expecting an 84, still brilliant, but Roman Reigns defeats Dean Ambrose with a spear to win the Raw Heavyweight Championship. Hopefully that's the right one. That's quite worrying, but still, Seth Rollins is irate that he isn't pinned. Roman Reigns is your champ, and we end the show with him holding the title up high, and we pray to God that we got a good show this time. There wasn't a single warning to say we hadn't done enough promos and stuff. So let's hope to God. We got an 84, which I think should have been better, considering from about here, from where are we going down to? From here, the matches were all 80 plus, which is really disappointing. We'll praise Roman, he is the champ. We'll also praise Ruru, because he won his belt at last. And we will praise Bray, because he kept his belt. No, we'll do Sasha. We'll go with Sasha, because they put on the match of the night. Joint best match of the night. For the Women's Championship. Pleased, and pleased. So we're going to head back to this main screen and see what's happened in the rest of the world. And we're back to the main screen, so let's see what the news is. We have lots of contracts that ended. which we knew was going to happen. We're not too worried about them. We have WrestleMania, which gets fantastic reviews, which is great. We see TNA, they're all the contracts basically. Otherwise, there's nothing too much in there. When we come to decisions, we just have renewals. We have past refusal on our dojo people, so we'll do developmental contracts. So we're going to actually see how this works at last. We'll see how good they are later. And the news is going to tell me all about the contracts. Somebody's bid for Drew McIntyre, which is worrying. Otherwise, news, more extensions. Somebody's gone for stuff. Paige thinks Biff Busak for that. Don't know why. R-Truth is moaning about injuries. And yeah, so not overly important amount of news there. Let's look at these injuries that we managed to get. As you can see, not too many news. What's wrong with Punk? He's just basically being CM Punk, moaning. Great. I think taking the title off him hasn't helped. But the medical page, that's not as bad as I thought. We'll risk it. And Titan should be back in 25 days. Mandy Leon's random injury is only 16 days. And Bubba's is 6 days. That's not too bad, considering how bad they all looked. The storylines are looking pretty good. To be fair, nothing really looking weak. So the Respect one is the best on SmackDown. Creative meeting. Charlotte has come back onto this list, which is okay. Drew is number 1, and that hasn't changed. Let's just double check this contract that I've offered him to try and make sure it's better than what he's being offered. It's touring. Good enough. He's staying with us by the looks of things. If he ups and leaves, I am not going to be happy. When we look at this, we haven't really improved too much anywhere. We're in the tri-state already. So that looks like it's everything for WrestleMania. I think it was a good card in the end. We can just double check some of the prestige. Not changed at all. I was hoping some might change a little bit. That looks like it's gone down. This one, that's staying up, which is good. This was always low. Gonna be low anyway, because it's a new title. This went down, which is surprising. And that's actually going up. This has continued to rise. That just looks worse and worse each time I see it. This is going up. This one. And that has continued to rise, which is great to see. We just quickly jump back to this one before we end the show. We go on the most popular. And you can see if any popularity has changed in the US, which is the important thing for this game. So we can see Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, Punk. Rusev is number 4. Then Roman, Seth. If we continue down the list, we don't have any real surprises. So we're actually doing really well with that. So we're going to end the show here, and we'll be back for Raw. Hope you enjoyed Mania, and thank you for watching.